Hey, Keith Kelly here with We Will Go Ministries, Extreme Faith in Jesus Christ 7-minute podcast, and I'm going to try to do all of this in 7 minutes. Sometimes I'm a little off, sometimes I'm late, but I really try to hone in about 7 minutes, okay? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about a book that I wrote. It's called Focus on Jesus and Not the Storm, God's Non-Negotiables to Christians in America, a Insider Tells All. And I'm going to talk a little bit about chapter 4 of the book. Chapter 4 of the book is something that really, this was something that really came on late in my life, my Christian walk. I've always known about witnessing and testifying on the streets and telling people about Jesus Christ wherever you can, where at work or wherever you're talking about. You always figure out ways, or you pray to God to give you an open door to tell people about Jesus Christ everywhere that you go. But I never really paid attention to world missions or the closed countries to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I never really thought about it that much. It just never really came to my mind a lot. I went to this class. My wife had an opportunity. She led worship for an organization called African Americans in Missions Conference. It's an African American Missions Conference. They had a planning session at an organization in Charlotte, North Carolina called SIM. SIM. That's a sending organization also that send missionaries out, and a lot of doctors and stuff to places like where they need it like that. A lot of doctors when the Ebola outbreak was in Africa, there was a lot of SIM doctors working on that. Well, anyway, they had a planning session at the offices there in Charlotte, North Carolina, and a gentleman got up and talked about this class called Perspectives, and I was really interested in this class called Perspectives. It's something that really I really wanted to make sure that I at least took a look at this. And Perspective is a world Christian movement. That's what they call it, a world Christian movement. And what they're talking about is they talk about missionary history. They talk about missionary work. They talk about missionary strategy. They talk about having a burden for people that have never heard the gospel. They call them unreached and unengaged. And so to have a burden for the unreached and unengaged. We in America, there's some people that have that burden. There's no doubt about it. But it's really an individual thing. We kind of depend on a lot of denominations depend on their main office to have that burden. And that way they don't have to have that burden. I've talked to many people that say, well, they might be a part of a denomination. Yeah, we don't do that much here, but our main office, there. But that's we're supposed to be concerned about that also. There's people. There's very little money comparatively goes to world missions, and we're not paying attention to that. We're shocked when we see those people get paraded on the beach by ISIS and get their heads chopped off because they're Christians. Those Egyptians that got their heads cut off on that beach because they would not renounce or denounce Christ. So the bottom line is we have to be concerned about that. We have to pray at least. Put that a part of your prayer. At least put that a part of your prayer. They say all the time. I went to a conference for Voice of the Martyrs. Voice of the Martyrs is one of the groups that I follow that I really love. Voice of the Martyrs is an organization that really is concerned about people in closed countries that are being persecuted. You might have remembered that Torture for Christ. The gentleman that actually started Voice of the Martyrs is the same one that whole video's about, Tortured for Christ. They're a very important group in this whole thing. Another one is Open Doors. They're very important in dealing with the persecuted Christians. And I want to support those groups in any way I can. We have to have a concern to support those groups because they're on the front line. And they're doing some real stealth, interesting stuff. They're smuggling Bibles into like real dangerous closed countries that if they got caught, they could actually be killed. And so, they're out front line, really trying to get the gospel out. And to me, I remember not long ago, there was a gentleman that is, in fact, he's in my book that went to a kind of a island that has never been inhabited except but the locals, the indigenous people that live there. And they don't want anybody to come in, and it's anybody that looks like they're coming that way, they start shooting arrows and and this young brother wanted to really get to them with the gospel of Jesus Christ, and he took that boat and he ended up getting killed, and there was a big controversy in America. Hey, don't bother them, they don't want to be. Somebody's going to get to them, folks. Somebody somewhere is going to get on that island, and they're going to be able to tell those guys about the gospel of Jesus Christ in their own language. They're going to end up getting saved. I mean, because all nations, the Bible says in Revelations around the throne, all nations and every tongue and every language. So everybody in the world is going to hear about Jesus Christ. And the beauty of it is, it's happening real fast. I mean, between the fact of the Bible translations are going real quickly, internet's moving, technology's moving, where they're able to, there's all kinds of dialects. There's thousands of dialects and languages in the world, and I think there's something like almost 1,500 people groups that they don't have a Bible in their own language, and so they're going to get there. That's happening, like by organizations like Wycliffe and other Bible translators. They're aggressively translating Bibles and getting into areas where the Bible's never been. That is happening like super fast. Same time, you got all this end time science stuff going on in Israel, and there's all kinds of end time signs going on. And we already know there's been a lot of them already fulfilled. The Bible says in the last days there'll be pestilence. Pestilence is a viral epidemic. Bingo. This is what we're in the middle of. So the bottom line is, we really want to make sure people know that we are concerned about being world Christians. Here at We Will Go Ministries, we're concerned about being world Christians and helping those. So I'm going to tell you more about it. You need to pick up that book. If you don't have it, get it. This is Keith Kelley with We Will Go Ministries, Extreme Faith in God, Extreme Faith in Jesus podcast. 7-minute podcast. Thank you very much.